The Russo brothers, Chris Evans, Anna de Armas, and Ryan Gosling working on the movie is sure to be gold, right? Find out when we discuss The Gray Man. I'm Chad.
And I'm Matt.
This is episode 66 of We Used to Talk About This at Work. All right, so right off the top of the show, we are welcoming back Jared. How you doing, brother?
Hello. I'm back again. Good to be back. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So before we get into it, I just want to remind the good people, if you haven't already, please rate our podcast on Spotify and also subscribe to our YouTube page. We're trying to do some things, guys, and we need your help for that.
Also, yes, we've been more active on Twitter, so check us out on Twitter. A lot of engagement going on. We're going to start doing a lot more engagement on YouTube and things. So yeah, please check us out. We have a growing number of followers on Twitter. We like to keep that going. Get in touch with the people, see what you guys like, what you don't like.
That's right. So, Jared, you recently saw Jordan Peele's Nope. Without spoilers, can you tell us not necessarily what it's about, but just like your impressions of it?
Yeah, so I did see it a couple days ago, and I thought it was pretty good.
Wait, was that beeping on my end?
No, that was my PlayStation. I accidentally picked up my PlayStation controller. Okay. But yeah, I saw it a couple days ago, and I thought it was good. I think Get Out is still is Jordan Peele's best movie still, but I think this is his second best movie. So I think it's solid.
Did you like Us?
It was all right. I didn't love it. I didn't think it was terrible, but it's just sort of in the okay range for me.
Matt, have you seen either Jordan Peele's first two movies?
Yes, I have.
You got any thoughts?
I agree. Nope wasn't. I mean, Us wasn't bad, but I'll watch Get Out again right now. I'll watch it again.
Yeah,
I wouldn't watch Us again.
So I've at the time of this recording, I've only seen his first two movies. Next week I'll talk about Nope lightly, of course. Yeah, I agree. Like, I feel like Get Out was really well written. It had many layers to it. Every scene could be looked at from multiple perspectives, like just the specific lines that were said. And with Us, I remember I saw Us with my cousin Bree, and I'm watching it. I'm like, okay, this is fine, I guess. And then after we got out the movie, she's all like, yes, I totally saw the parallels to the prison, the school to prison pipeline. And I was like, where? What are you talking about?
Right.
And so, like, I feel like Us is it's a competent movie, but it a lot of it wasn't as on the surface as Get Out. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
I agree. I agree.
And so not everyone was prepared for that, or is even trying to go see some shit like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, Matt, what have you been up to, man? Yeah.
Actually, social media. I've been doing a lot of social media. And one thing I know, we have been critical of Kevin Hart and The Rock as far as their movies and things are concerned. Now, are you guys familiar with the Tortilla challenge?
Yeah. That's it's a TikTok thing, right?
Yes.
So this is where you drink water, like you don't swallow, but you hold it in your mouth, and then you hit somebody with a tortilla, Mexican food. And the thing is, you try not to spit it out. Am I leaving anything out?
No, you're right. And whoever spits it out is the loser. So I saw this clip, like, they're promoting the new
Super Pets.
Super Pets movie.
Also, man,
And just
you got to start putting these links in the outline. I've seen what you're talking about.
No, you're right. I apologize. I'm getting better step by step. But the thing is their chemistry off set is amazing. Like, I mean, not when I say offset, I mean not in a movie. Like they are acting like, I mean, not acting. They are like best friends.
Yeah, they're actual friends.
They're like they're actual friends. Their interactions are funny. It's hilarious. It's genuine.
It's essentially like when Matt and I go on our press tours. Like that chemistry is just vibrating off of us,
Exactly. But hopefully they never put us in a movie, because when they're in a movie, I don't like them together in a movie.
I mean, because they're going through the motions of what they do. They are essentially the same person in everything that they are in, and that same person is just a version of themselves instead of their actual selves.
So now, as directors, how would you get them to have that chemistry? Because that chemistry that they have off screen, how would you do to get that chemistry on screen? Because like, I love them together doing these press junkets. They're hilarious and all this other stuff is genuine. But then on the movies, I'm just like, okay. So how would you get that chemistry on screen?
That's a good question. I think it's like something that comes to my head is like really good on-screen chemistry between, like, well, I guess it's not really a direct comparison, but like I think about Rush Hour, like Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker, like, and I'm pretty sure like a ton of that is just Chris Tucker freestyling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, maybe you go that route of letting kind of letting Kevin Hart do his thing and just let him kind of freestyle off of each other, because if I do agree with you, like the chemistry off camera, or when they're not in a movie or on set together, is definitely better because it's more genuine and it's kind of free flowing. They're talking about each other, they're joking about each other. So like maybe you go that route where you put them in a role where it's like it's not as structured.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, honestly, and I'm sorry to not really answer this question, but I think that we are well past getting that from the two of them, especially together. Mm-hmm. Like The Rock, is he not the most highest paid actor in the world at this point right now?
Yes.
Right. And like Kevin Hart is like pretty high up there as well. Like when you have people that high up in the mountaintops, getting them to do what you want them to do is not really a thing. Like, yes, you're the director of this movie, but they're the executive producer.
True.
And so like the only way you're gonna get a real performance out of them is if you shooting a fucking indie movie for like $50K and they're basically working for nothing because they actually want to be there.
Right.
So
because
I'm sorry.
Right, because I'm like in other stuff, like I haven't seen Kevin Hart do this yet, but I know The Rock has done like those karaoke shows or whatever, where he lip syncs, and it's like, and I know The Rock from wrestling, where it's like that man oozes with charisma.
Mm-hmm.
So he's good. Kevin Hart's funny doing like, it's just I don't know. I guess I should have thought about this more. I would have came up with a better idea. So, but it's just like, I loved every single, like, I actually legit laughed out at their interactions together. One of the things where like a guy asked him, what song you think The Rock works out to? And the Kevin Hart was like Raining Man. And they had this whole back and forth about Raining Man. And I'm just like, somehow put this in a movie or something. This is great content. Like, I legit loved it. So like the next movie they're in, I'm going to be like this. And that's what I'd rather just see them interact with each other somehow in a show. Maybe they do a thing where they're creating the premise is they're creating a movie, but the movie is just them interacting in the back scenes or whatever.
Exaggerated versions of themselves.
Right.
Like what was that shitty Judd Apatow movie that we didn't like?
You gotta be more specific. I don't like a lot of
the
movies.
one set during the pandemic.
When they were had to
yeah. It's like basically it's like about the pandemic, basically.
Yeah, they was in COVID and everything. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. I still remember the name of it.
Yeah, something like that. Like I wouldn't say a farce, but it's like it's a Hollywood movie about Hollywood, and yeah.
Right. But speaking of movies, though, I don't know if I told you this. When I went to go see Thor: Love and Thunder, I had an amazing idea. Now, what about if instead of popcorn, movies gave you a bucket, or I cross-referenced this with some people at work. They didn't agree with bucket. The word we came up with was trough. A trough of a trough of French fries. So instead of popcorn, you had a trough of French fries.
That's a lot more unhealthy.
Well, I'm not here to keep y'all healthy. I'm just thinking, I think French fries instead of popcorn would be so much better. So then now let's elaborate on the thing.
That's also more expensive.
You can have just regular French fries. You can put carne asada on them. You can put cheese and jalapenos on there. You can have different stuff. And what's your guys' thoughts about that?
I would probably eat French fries at a theater. I won't lie.
Yeah, but like my thing is also like there are some theaters that do something like that, like the dine-in type theaters, to where like I'm not sure what kind of theater you went to in Japan, Matt, but over here they've got the ones where you can get a burger or like
and
real
fries,
food.
Yeah.
So like I'm sure like some theater chain out there has like something like that. But yeah,
I mean, you mean like as a replacement for popcorn, you mean?
Right, like there's no more popcorn at my theater. Instead of popcorn, you're getting French fries. And I mean, we can get fancy. You might get waffle fries, curly fries. We can get fancy here, but I'm thinking replace popcorn and you get French fries now.
You know how much potatoes cost versus popcorn kernels? I'm not talking about from a consumer standpoint.
Well, I'm talking about, okay, I understand what you're saying. I'm saying in general, as a customer, would you be like, if they were like, we're not selling popcorn, but you get a trough of French fries, would you be like, no, gross, I don't want that? Would you be like, oh, I might like that?
I mean, yeah, like maybe once or twice, but it's like that has been ingrained in our society for so long. But like I'd be down for some fries every now and again, or if it's a day where like, oh man, it's been a busy day and I missed, I didn't eat anything. So let me get some fries instead of popcorn, I'd be down.
Yeah, I think the thing about popcorn is like it's just so airy and it's kind of light and you can eat a lot of it without feeling full. So like it's kind of like a special theater thing where you eat popcorn where it's like it's kind of a mindless snack, you know what I mean? Whereas potatoes are kind of thick and all of that. But I know what you mean.
It's starchy.
No, you're right, because that's another thing I thought about. Yeah, with popcorn, you can eat it, be fine. If you eating the whole trough of French fries, you're gonna get full,
especially with stuff on it.
Yeah,
right.
But yeah,
I basically eat French fries every time I go to the movies, though. Just so you know, like I haven't ordered popcorn at a theater. Like I usually actually eat a meal when I go to the theater. So, I plan my whole day out. Like I won't eat dinner. And then I'll just plan my whole day. Like I'll eat a snack at like 4, and then I'll go to the movies at like 7, and then I'll eat at the theater. So, and it's really nice theater.
Yeah, you sent us a screenshot. You went to a theater called Evo. Can you tell us about that movie theater?
Yeah, it's like the nicest theater in San Antonio. So, well, you got Evo, and then you got one. It's literally less than a mile right down the road. It's called Santikos, and like they're both basically the same thing. They're both these huge entertainment complexes. So they have arcade there, they have bowling alleys, they have like laser tag, they have like the VR games where you put the VR headset on and you like you have the guns where you can shoot and whatnot. Evo actually has like the full VR setup where you have they call it an Omni treadmill, where it's like a circular treadmill. You put the VR headset on and you got the gun, you can run around and like, so it's like a full-fledged entertainment complex. And the theater is like the I mean, they have normal theaters, but even the normal theaters are like top of the line. And then they have like the EVX the EVX theater, which is like the super, super huge screen. It's like the IMAX equivalent. And
so I'm looking at the menu here, and some like the food combinations are reminding me of like a Dave and Buster's, where they're like you get a $10 game card if you get this hamburger.
Right. It's exactly like a Dave and Buster's, like with a theater, basically. That's a great comparison. Dave and Buster's is exactly like what it is.
But that's a smart idea, because then you could plan your whole day like a Friday night, Saturday. Hey, let's go out here. We play some video games. We already at the theater. We ain't got to worry about running late. We can do all this stuff and be like, oh, damn, the movie starts in 10 minutes. All right, let's just go over there. That's a smart idea.
That's a good like date. Yeah, you're right. That's a good date spot.
Yeah, it's huge, but like it's just a giant complex of entertainment, basically. And that's Evo, and then Santiago's is like the same thing. It's right down the street. It's like literally on the same street, and it's the same exact thing, except with slight differences. But Evo I think is better. And it's like a full dining theater. You press the button, the waiters the waiter comes out to your seat, takes your order, brings the food out to you and everything. And I basically eat dinner like every time I go to the movies, so it's pretty sweet. It's weird because at first I was like, when I first saw the dine-in theaters, it was really when I got back from Japan, and I was visiting St. Louis, and I went to one of the theaters on I think it was like one of the AMC theaters on Olive, and I was like, it was a dining theater, and I was just it didn't sit right with me that like somebody would come into the theaters, kind of stand up, take your order. Like I didn't like it, but like the more I thought about it, I was like, it's fine. They're not really blocking the movie. They're not really ruining it for me. I just kind of ignore them. So I got over it, and like it's fine to me now. I like it. It's beautiful.
Going off that, when I was talking about I got McDonald's last night. Solely the purpose to research things. I know we're doing a podcast today. So like they have the different seasonings that they have for popcorn, right? Something like this, ranch and different stuff like that.
Look at you playing it up for our YouTube audience. I'm sorry, podcast listeners, but Matt actually, you could actually see what Matt was holding up.
Yeah, it's called Colonel seasoning, ranch flavor, white cheddar flavor. So we had the McDonald's fries, put them on there, and I put this ranch season on there. Fucking fire. So this just puts an exclamation point that my French fry idea could work. And then then like I got real deep into my head about this new theater thing I'm about to shake up the world with. And I was like this, what do you guys feel about a theater that doesn't sell no food, but you can bring your own food in?
Okay, so stop. This question is for you, Matt. How do you think movie theaters make money?
Well, I understand that. This is just hypothetical stuff. I'm just playing around.
But I'm saying
I'm not actually going to.
But I'm saying as a business, that's their real source of income. Like they're not really making money off movies.
Why are you trying to shoot down my dreams? I didn't talk to my accountant about this. I just thought this up.
Well, first of all, Matt, as you know, the listeners don't know that I am an accountant. So
right?
you kind of are talking to yours about that, all right?
So, Jared, what you think? Would you like to go to a theater, didn't sell food, but allowed you to bring food in?
No.
Honestly, I don't.
No.
I would probably. It wouldn't be as convenient for me because I wouldn't want to lug my food around into a theater.
But also, like,
what if you're in the theater? Hop out of Chipotle real quick and then roll on in.
What if you're in the theater trying to watch, Guardians of the Galaxy 17, and somebody comes in there with this gross ass thing with onions that's just smelling up the whole theater?
Well, I didn't think about that one. I thought about, people gonna be people. So I was like, you will have somebody cracking crab legs or something like that. So then I was no shellfish is gonna be allowed. But then you probably got somebody trying to heat up some fish.
Yeah, they go to the person like, hey, in that where you heat up the popcorn, can you heat up this this plate for me real quick?
Put this in there for me. Yeah.
Right. Put this tilapia in here real quick. Okay.
Well, I mean, there are times where I'm like, man, I'm hungry. Why can't I just bring this burger up in here instead of, following the rules?
Well, if you brought a burger, the fries would already be there. If Matt were running the joint.
So hey, you can be like, hey, I'm bringing these fries in here. Just put the sauce on top of it, and we'd be good to go.
A literal sauce on the side, huh?
On Wrestle Talk this week, Vince McMahon of the WWE retired.
Yep.
Chad, do you know who Vince McMahon is?
I am aware of who Vince McMahon is. Also, you sent this article in a group chat that I'm in with you.
Oh, I didn't send that. The other person did.
Okay. Well, never mind. But yes, I'm aware. That's how I first found out about it. But yeah, like I've sent that Vince McMahon gif of him falling over in the chair so many times.
Right. So he retires 77. Now, it's not the reason why he just retired. It's the reason why he tired. So he's retired because the Wall Street Journal posted that basically over years he's been getting sexual favors from his employees.
Mm-mm.
Now, WWE is a public traded company. So if this was a regular company, it might not be a thing because he's been paying these women millions of dollars, basically hush money.
Right.
But since they're a public traded company, the board has been looking into all this stuff to where they hired a woman and she was making something like $120,000 a year. And she got into a relationship with Vince McMahon. And then Vince McMahon passed her to his boy, John Laurinaitis, who actually he was a head of talent relations. And basically she didn't want to have the relationship. Or let me take that back. She got in a relationship with Vince McMahon. She was making $120,000 initially. They bumped her up to something crazy, like she was making $300,000 after the relationship. Everything was fine, but then he stopped messing with her, passed her to his boy, who was the head of talent relations. She didn't want to do anything more, and that's where she paid them like hush money stuff. So that's where they're investigating all this stuff. And basically, because if you would ask me as a wrestling fan, do I think Vince McMahon would ever retire? No, he would have died in that seat. So now this ushers in a new, because with a TV show, you have a show, not a showrunner, the person in charge of the show, the throughout time.
Showrunner.
Oh, okay, that is called showrunner. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So, but showrunners change.
Mm-hmm.
Vince McMahon has. Go ahead, Chad.
No, I mean sometimes you don't want them to.
Right, but the showrunner for WWE has been Vince McMahon since the 80s, 70s. Right. So there's been former writers from WWE to where they're not writing to just write a great story for these characters. They're writing because Vince McMahon is in charge. Vince McMahon has a sense of humor for this, sense of humor for that, blah, blah, blah. So they've been basically writing for a person of one. So now what the big thing going on is, how is WWE going to look going forward, where now, hopefully that without that showrunner, now you're going to have somebody else, because, they've been writing for a 70-year-old man for all these years. So with young blood, because right now, his daughter, Stephanie McMahon, is the co-CEO right now of the company.
They got to drain the swamp, man.
Who knows? But this is a new day that hasn't happened in 40 plus years of somebody being in charge of WWE.
So speaking as someone that doesn't really follow wrestling, but I've heard things about Vince McMahon. Like I listened to like an interview with Freddie Prinze Jr. when he's talking about when he worked for does he still work for them?
Not anymore. He used to be part of creative. Yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr.
When he used to work there, and he's just like, it's like talking to a wall on some issues, because like he's like, it has to be this way, this old school way. This is like vaudeville, guys. And like you got like 20-year-olds like, what the fuck is vaudeville?
Right.
And so like, and yeah, like I agree. Like he should not still be running the ship.
Well, even if he was, my whole thing was, if he could still be the CEO, he shouldn't be in charge of creative. That's the part thing is. You can't have a one person army for the whole plot of the show, especially when, WWE thing, what they call sports entertainment. You're going to have comedy, you're going to have action, blah, blah, blah. And they're writing it for like their comedy is based off a 70-year-old man.
Right.
But
what he finds funny.
But also, we genuinely cannot overlook the sexual misconduct.
100%.
Right.
And that's another thing that gets me is to like right now you have all these different wrestlers. Oh, thank you so much, Vince McMahon. If it wasn't for me, I would have a job. And it's like, I understand that without this man, you wouldn't have a job. Without this man, the relationship that I had with my birth father wouldn't have been the same because we bonded over wrestling. Two things could be true at the same time, but I also acknowledge that he has multiple accusations of misconduct to where I don't need to go out and praise this man that he retired, because when you retire, to me, that doesn't really seem like a praise. When you retire, you did your job after X amount of years. Thank you for your service. The company could thank you, but like the employees are saying, without this man, I don't like that, especially because of the misconduct stuff. You're thanking this man, even though right now he has sexual misconduct stuff with him. That just sounds crazy.
How many women's lives has he ruined? And you are like, thank you, sir.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good to thank him after something like this happens.
Especially when it'd be different if we didn't know this. We know this, and we've known this for about a month and a half now about this stuff going on.
And not even just that.
For you guys to do
not even just that. The public. How many of these motherfuckers that's been thanking him for like the opportunities that have been just that no? Because like like you work at a place long enough, you know who's messing around with who. You know this. Yep. You hear stories about things. You're like, oh, why is Susan? Why? Oh, I like Susan. Where's Susan? Oh, she had to leave because, well, you know Vince. So it's like y'all know what the fuck is up.
Right. And actually, like you said, they know more than we do for them to be out thanking this man like that, especially with this time. It's just wild to me.
I mean, don't get me started.
I mean, this could be a good thing. It could be a good thing for WWE. Maybe we'll see some. I mean, well, full disclosure, I haven't followed wrestling like closely since like I don't know, early 2000s. So I haven't been keeping track. But I mean, I know a little bit about what's going on with this, and I've loosely seen everything that's happening. But I mean, Vince is super old, so get some young guns in there. I think they said, are they bringing Triple H back? Is Triple H about to play a bigger role?
How old is Triple H?
Triple H is not a spring chicken either. So
like, that's the fucking problem.
But he's younger, I'm saying. And maybe
he's in his late 40s, early 50s.
And he was in the business, so maybe he has he probably has a better understanding of what the fans want to see now.
And that is true because when Triple H took over NXT, and he was like, because you had Raw, SmackDown, the main roster. Vince was the end all be all for that. And Triple H took over NXT. He was the end all be all. And NXT blew up. They took a lot of indie talent that was popular in the things, brought them into the NXT, made them stars like Seth Rollins, that you might know, Dean Ambrose. Like they had different stuff, right? And he made this big thing. And then recently, like basically Triple H had a heart attack and almost died. And they took him off. And then once he left, that's when Vince McMahon came in and changed all of NXT. Like they got rid of basically all the guys that Triple H brought in. They got rid of guys, got new stars. They revamped it. They call it NXT 2.0 now. And now Triple H is back now because of all of this stuff. So now hopefully it can get back to what it was. So like a lot of those stars that Triple H made in NXT, they're on AEW now. Like Adam Cole's on there, like different stars that's out there. So people have a lot more faith that Triple H is, because Triple H gave the fans what they wanted. So they have made faith that Triple H is going to do that again now.
Okay. Well, I mean, I hope that things, take a turn for the better going forward in WWE.
Because I can't wait. One of the first year I'm back, WrestleMania. Me and you are going to sit down and watch WrestleMania. I don't know how I want to do this, if I want to tweet it out or if we have a video, but I would like to see, as somebody who does not watch wrestling, you're not going to know who these people are. So I just want to see in real time your reaction. Like, why does this person look like that? Or what is this gimmick? I just want to see that and record it somehow.
Okay, so why don't we just stream it to something? YouTube or Twitch.
It's like a reaction video to
right.
non-wrestling fan reacts to WrestleMania.
And then I'll edit the clips.
Right. But speaking of wrestling, I was over at my wife's parents' house and
do you have video?
No. But I'll do it again. I'll do it again. So he's the one who got me my katanas and stuff like that I have in my house. And I was like, hey, yeah, my father-in-law, sorry. And I was like, hey, do you guys have a kendo stick? And he was like, he'll look for one. So I was over there yesterday and his father gave me a kendo stick. Ooh. So I was like, oh. So I was like, of course, I need somebody to hit me with this. And the reason why is I've watched enough wrestling, and you always want to know, does that stuff really hurt? So of course I was like, hey wife, hit me with this in my back. And at first she was giving me these little love taps, and I was like, nah, lay into me. And then she gave me a swing, and I was like, okay. But
so hold out. So is this something that you learned from How to Build a Sex Room last week?
Now that you mention it, I could add it to the repertoire. It didn't hurt enough. Actually, yes, it hurt, but it kind of excited me. Maybe I'm into this thing, and I didn't know. Maybe this opened up something for me.
Open up your third eye.
Right. So it hurt, but it didn't hurt enough to where like I'm laying on the ground. So then the wife looked at my back and I had a whelp on my back. And I was like, oh, so to answer your questions, kids out there, kendo sticks do hurt.
This is not a drill.
Yes, this is not fake. Don't ever use the F word when you're talking about pro wrestling. But so I will have this kendo stick, and once I get back to the stateside, I'll be sure to hit Chad with it.
Content, okay.
Open up your third eye, my brother.
I just said content, okay.
Exactly. And then we can throw some chairs in here too. You want to get hit with a chair?
No, absolutely not.
You want to go through a table?
No, someone can hit me with the kendo stick, not you. Shit.
But speaking of chairs, Chad, what's going on with the Pallbearers Club?
Oh, that's not a good transition at all, man. But this is a book that I read. I've been reading like the last 2 weeks. It's by Paul Tremblay, and the description labeled it as like a kind of like a horror psychological thriller type book, but that the description is actually lying to you. So the book is basically it's a memoir that as you're reading it, someone is like not editing it, but somebody's reading it with you. And so you're reading stuff and then they'll make comments like, that's not how it happened. And basically in high school, this guy, he started something called the Pallbearers Club to be like pallbearers at funerals where like it's like a homeless person or like a person that didn't have a lot of family. And he did that so that it'll look good on a college transcript. And the Pallbearers Club only plays a factor into like the very beginning of the book, because he ends up meeting this woman that signs up for it named Mercy, and they kind of weave in and out of each other's lives. And Mercy is the one reading the book saying, hey, I didn't say that, or like, how can you say I said that? Like this, you're not writing a memoir, you're writing a novel. Because like in the book, he's like accusing her of like being like a demon and stuff. And like she's talking about things from other perspectives. Like, I remember that night, like we both smoked weed, but in what you wrote, you said that only I smoked weed. And so like it's clear like the guy had a lot of like issues like with substance abuse. So like there's another time they reconnected like when they were adults. and she noticed like there were pill bottles in his jacket, but like he's saying that he fell asleep at her place, and like the dresser drawer was like levitating and shit, but he's high out
It's
his
like he's on
goddamn mind.
pills.
Yeah.
Right.
So like I didn't like the book mostly because it's like there were like those supernatural elements were like sparsely in the book, and like that's what the description is trying to hook you on. And yeah, I just really wasn't feeling it. So like I would say skip the Pallbearers Club.
Yeah. Do you think it'll be better if it was like a TV show? You think they can make it work better with a TV show?
No. Well, first off, name it something else. But like not really, because it's like it's just basically the guy's life from like high school until like his later age, where like things didn't work out and he had to move back home with his mom and he had to watch her die from cancer. So it's like it's just basically like just a normal drama. Well, not even drama, just like a normal slice of life type situation with these elements that he's saying are supernatural, but like she's explaining like he has a history of substance abuse.
So it's like an unreliable narrator thing, but it's like debunked right after, like with the okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Actually, that could be a comedy though, or not this story, but that type of thing could be a comedy where somebody's like, "Oh yeah, I did this, this, and this," and you like, "Motherfucker, that's not how it happened." Like every time he tried to do something,
you could do something with that, yeah. I also watched the animated movie Green Lantern Beware My Power. Did you see it, Jared?
I have not seen it, but I know of it. I've watched the trailer and everything, so I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So this one, it follows Jon Stewart, and this is just like his not necessarily like comic book accurate origin, but like this is a story of Jon Stewart first getting his ring. And I didn't care for this either. I felt like as a story they did too much. Like I'm not gonna specifically say what it is, but like there's a very infamous not Jon Stewart, Hal Jordan storyline that they crammed in here at the last minute. There was some stuff about how like the what do you call those guys? The blue guys that give you the rings. The Guardians, is that what they're called? The little blue people that are on the Green Lantern planet. Okay.
Sure,
basically like there were some elements in here where like a whole bunch of Green Lanterns were killed, and it's just like they were trying to do too much and not enough at the same time. And like they like introduced like members of the Justice League that were only in one scene of the movie, and it's like, why are you here? Like they were just doing too much. So I wouldn't recommend that either. I caught Where the Crawdads Sing in the movie theater last night, and this is an adaptation of a pretty popular book. I would say I've not read the book, but I'm saying as someone that watches movies, and you can kind of tell like how stories go. I can tell that this is not a good adaptation of the book. Like 80% of the movie is told in flashback with narration. And like that, the narration alone is a big no-no for any storytelling outside of a book. And like I hate saying this, but I feel like this should have been a TV show, because like the insane thing is like there's a woman that has grown up in like the
marsh.
Thank you so much. In the marsh. And so like the people in the nearest town call her the Marsh Girl. And a man is killed, and like the evidence looks like she did it. And so like you have your situation right here. This should be a courtroom drama, and each witness you call up, that is how you introduce the flashbacks to like tell stories.
Right.
But they don't do that. Like she'll just be in, they'll be in court and she'll just be drawing while like, the lawyer's talking about stuff. And then they'll just do a 15-minute flashback to like when she was like 15.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are we doing here? This doesn't connect to what was happening in the courtroom just now. So yeah, I mean, I hate saying this, but it should have been a TV show and where they had some room to breathe and like could have, told more of the story. So don't check that out either.
Why do you hate to say that though?
Because like that's what we say so much these days with movies, where we feel like
it should have been TV. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, honestly, like
and
a lot of
vice versa.
I
was just saying, like, I think the Obi-Wan show could have been better as a movie. Like,
no, I mean, I'll agree with you on that. Yeah, but it's just like we got to stop saying that just because people out here fucking up adaptations. Just be like, try again, bro.
We'll get into people fucking up adaptations again later too.
So my last thing is Matt and I played a video game, and it's been a really long time since we played a game together. Not together, but like around the same time. Yeah, like I remember one of the things that we really bonded over was when we both were playing Red Dead Redemption at the same time. And I was like, the second one.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I'm in this town and I found this, that, and the other. He's like, oh well, I'm in the mountains and I got this, that, and the other. Like that was a lot of fun. But yeah, so I beat the game. I think I played it for like maybe 2 or 3 days. And when I first started playing, I was like, this is really cool. And I was like, oh man, my daughter's gonna love watching me play this. And so like I played a little bit of it in front of her. And she was like, oh, okay, dog. And I was like, no, baby, that's a cat. Dog. I was like, okay. And so like she was sitting on my lap and she grabbed the controller from me. I'm like, all right, you want to play? And then she's like, no, actually I don't. Just handed me the controller back and got down and walked away. So she's not a cat girl, okay? But overall, I really like the game. Did you beat it yet?
Yes.
Okay. I really like the game. It had a decent ending, but I would have liked more levels. I'm not saying I wanted more things to happen after we got to the end. I would have liked more things to happen before we got to the end. But I really enjoyed the game.
Yes, I really enjoyed the game. The ending was kind of anticlimactic because synopsis, without doing spoilers, synopsis basically you're a cat, you're with a group of, I assume, your family.
Well, hold up. This is a post-apocalyptic Earth where humans have died and robots have taken over. That is very apparent. That is very apparent from the beginning of the.
Well, no, I'm saying you start off as your family, a cat, and then you learn about the stuff later on. But yeah, so the point is the cat want to get back to his family of cats. But then at the end, he doesn't get back with the family of cats. So that's where I was like, oh, so we did all of this. We saved all of this stuff with these robots and things like that. And then I thought, like, once we leave, he's going to meet up there and just magically there's going to be his cat buddies over there. He just walks out and he's just by himself. And I was like, well, I thought this whole point was for him to get back with his friends.
Maybe that's the secret ending. Maybe if we got 100% on the game, that was the real ending.
Yeah. How much? So you just played without looking at anything, right? You just played it through.
There was like one part where I was like, I do not know what to do. And then when I looked at it, I was like, oh, I feel stupid.
Was it like one of the puzzles? Because I know it's like kind of like puzzles mixed in there.
What puzzle was it? Well, I guess we should say that. Let me take that back. So you play as a cat. You're just a cat. You jump on things, you meow, you knock things off.
Yeah,
so stuff. Right, and then you're like a cat, so you can move like barrels. Like one point, he gets his head stuck in a paper bag. So, like it's funny because when I told my son I started playing it, he was like, I was like, yeah, it's a cat game. He's like, can the cat fly? I was like, no, he's just a cat. He was like, can a cat shoot lasers or guns or anything? I'm like, no, it's just a cat. So he was like, wait, what does a cat do? And I'm like, it's just a cat. And that reminded me of the Rick and Morty pickle episode where he's like, can the pickle fly? He's like, I wouldn't be a good pickle if I did. So he just couldn't understand that I'm playing a game that's just about a cat.
That's funny. It was the part where you had to get the jacket and the hat, and I couldn't. It didn't connect to me what I need to do to get the jacket. Like I knew where to get the jacket from, but I didn't know how to trigger making the person leave.
You know me, it was the hat part. The hat part was, I mean, I got the guy to leave to do it, but it was the hat part where I couldn't figure out about getting in there, getting in that room and stuff. That's the part I had to look up.
I gotcha.
But yeah, overall, great game. I didn't know with the robots and everything else like that how they were going to do it. I thought it was going to be a game of me playing as a cat in an alley, but I really enjoy what they do. And I know it's short, but it was only what, $23, $24 or whatever, unless you had PlayStation Plus, then you could have got it for free.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you haven't played Stray, go ahead, check it out. I loved it. Short, because I got it on Friday and I beat it on Thursday. Yeah,
I got it Tuesday, and I think I beat it Thursday also, Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
So
yeah, sure. But yeah, they're doing good things. I enjoyed it. So yeah, Jed, if you haven't checked it out, nice, easy game. It's fun. It's fun to play as a cat. It's good.
It looked cool. Like I saw it when I think the trailer for it came out either last year or a couple years ago. And I remember seeing it and I was just like, it looks interesting. Like it's a game where you play as a cat. You know what I'm saying? I'm always down for a good, cool, like sort of indie game. So I do have PlayStation Plus, so I might download it, but especially if it's short, because I don't have a lot of time. So
I do like games like this where like they're short, like like okay, at most this is a 2-day commitment.
Yeah.
And the good thing, for some reason, the wife that normally doesn't like me to play certain games. She had fun watching me play Red Dead Redemption, but other games she doesn't. But she really liked watching me play this game. Like she was like at points where like I would die and the cat would just fall over. She'd be so worried about the cat, or even at the beginning, when the cutscenes where he first loses his family, how he falls down and then he wakes up and he's limping. My wife was like, "Oh my God, he's limping." She was really into it.
That's funny.
Are either of you guys cat people in real life?
No.
Wait,
I am.
Wait a minute. I might have to edit that out.
That seemed pretty. You were quick to say no to that, so
I'm not a pet person, honestly.
Yeah, I had 3 cats at one point. It was rough.
You're
at one time,
huh?
It was rough. Yeah. Well, it was because at the time my wife, this was a while ago, my wife was like, "I want to have a baby," and I was like, "I'm not having a baby," so I just kept getting cats. It's like a baby. Get another cat. Yeah.
Right.
So it was like a distraction technique. So But
it's funny because
cats are fine. I don't mind cats.
That's the reason why we got our first dog, where she was like, "I want a baby," and I wasn't deploying, and I was like, "Just get a dog." So the first dog we got was because she needed something to occupy her time and everything, and then we got another dog because I was deployed and we couldn't get anything, so we got another dog after that. So yeah.
See, yeah.
And then once my son was born, she had her top full. She couldn't handle a dog anymore.
Yeah, like we down to 1 dog now, so it's all good.
Got rid of all those cats
a long time ago. Yeah. But when I did, the last cat that I did get, he was all black, and I named him Batman. So
that's cool. Bit of an oxymoron, but all right. All right.
My dream, my dream pet is always, I want a pet with, don't care what color it is, but it needs to be all one color. His paws to be white, and his name is going to be Sneakers. I've had this name since high school. That I've been waiting for this pet. I have not had this pet, but I'm still looking. All white, paws white, or all one color, paws white, and his name going to be Sneakers. That's what I'm looking for. So if anybody has any pets to adopt in Japan, in the Nagasaki prefecture, let me know.
If I liked cats, I would want like an orange one, and I would name him Shere Khan, from Jungle Book.
The Jungle Book, yeah.
A tabby cat. That's what the orange ones are.
Okay. This week we discuss The Gray Man.
They have something they really want. What's your gut? It's gonna be my funeral you're going to next.
You want to make an omelet? You got to kill some people.
You must be Lloyd. What gave it away? The trash stash. It leans Lloyd.
Easy.
6, a highly skilled assassin for the CIA, is the agency's best merchant of death. When a mission goes bad, 6 is on the run from the CIA with a sociopath named Lloyd Hansen hot on his trail. All right, so Jared, this is your third, technically fourth rodeo, so you will not be going first. And Matt, I'm not going to give you the first chance to talk either, because I really want to say this before you guys muddy up my what I feel like is a brilliant take on this movie.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to lay this out, from the get-go. I didn't like this movie, but watching this movie, it felt like this, and I'm aware that this is a series of books. This is why you're here, Jared, because you say you read the books.
Yeah.
But this feels like The Gray Man was like a TV show, like on like network TV or whatever, right? And it ran for 5-6 seasons and it got canceled. And then like a couple of years later, after fans were like begging and pleading, they were like, okay, fine, we're gonna give you guys a movie and this is gonna wrap things up. So, but so much time has passed, you couldn't get everybody, right? So like you got Ryan Gosling, he was the star of the Gray Man TV show, right? And then you got Billy Bob Thornton, he was the handler, and like Afri Woodard, she was on a couple episodes. She was like an antagonist at one point, but then she was like their friend. And then you had to bring in new people since you couldn't bring in the regulars. Like that's where you get Anna de Armas. Like she's the agent that comes in to help. And like you get a big actor like Chris Evans, he's the antagonist. And like you get some worm, like some up and coming British actor or actors, because that woman is British too. She was on Iron Fist. But it's like this just feels like we were dropped in the middle of a story. And I understand that this is based off a book, but what I'm trying to say is this was not a good adaptation of a book. There shouldn't have been that many flashbacks. And I don't know, it just felt like run of the mill. Like I'm so tired of seeing shit where like the assassin has a code. Like I'm not saying that he should have killed that kid in the beginning, but this is the inciting incident. You've been murdering people for 12 years and there's never been a situation where there was a kid in the way. And like I get he was trying to be like, oh, I got a different way of doing this, but like that was so fucking messy. Like his alternate decision. So I don't know, like that's not stealth. I don't know, man. It's just like, why did Chris Evans out here kidnapping kids and shit? It's like, what the fuck are we doing, man? And you blowing up half of Prague? I'm like, you just getting so many eyes on the situation. And then it's like Bridgerton's like, Chris Evans, he's the man for the job. Like this man's crazy. He should have had a bullet in his fucking head a long time ago. What are we doing? I wasn't feeling this shit. I'm sorry. And also, it's like you could tell Chris Evans was having so much fun in this role. And I'm glad somebody was having fun because I wasn't having fun watching this shit. Why is this movie so goddamn long? But yeah, I'm sorry. Let me sit down and let y'all talk.
All right, so I'll go next. Now, before I start, I would like to say I enjoyed this movie. Now, I'm putting this out because I'm about to critique the shit out of it. But overall, I enjoyed this movie. So let's start with Chris Evans. They said that this dude is a maniac and all this other shit and all this stuff about how bad he is. But really, besides hooking up the jumper cables to the guy's lips, pulling off 2 nails off of Billy Bob, he didn't do anything. He's nice in hand-to-hand combat. But all the other stuff he paid other people to do. So I wish that he would have had more stuff to show how maniac and crazy he is and stuff like that. I One thing I did love was Ryan Gosling's character. And I realized I like my spies or assassins, I like them to be emotionless, like a Jason Bourne type of thing, where, you know, he's just getting beat up and he's just taking it and he goes about this way. I really enjoy that because, you know, well, in this story, his father, quote unquote, trained him for stuff like this, but I liked how nonchalant he was with all of the stuff, even getting beat up and everything. He's still talking nice, where like at the end where she was like, after she shot him, she was like, I did that to immobilize you. He was like, well, can I be immobilized over here to lean up against this rock? I like how it's not jokes for him. He's here to do a job and everything else like that. I like that type. And the only thing I could thought of was a Jason Bourne type of character. I didn't like Bridgerton. Bridgerton was a nice, sweet gentleman on that show. And now he's playing a whole different thing and he's an asshole. And I don't like that. I know actors need jobs, but I didn't like that about him. But I feel like they didn't like the part you say you didn't like about having a code. I agree with that. They all have codes. Now he chose the wrong option of a messy one, but I guess he was like, fuck it. I gotta have an option and this is the best case. And he was like, I'm about to just start stabbing people. But I do like how he has a code because he ate, or I was about to say,
it's the same fucking code. All these fucking assassin movies, it's the same goddamn code.
Right. So it's not a surprise for you then.
I was like, we are like minutes into this fucking movie, and I'm like, we just gonna fucking check all the goddamn boxes. We checking the boxes. Assassin with a heart of gold. I kill any and everybody, but not kids. I'm not saying he should have killed a kid. I'm just saying, why do we have to do the same shit in all these fucking movies?
Okay.
Do you remember Jason Bourne? No. You remember the inciting incident of that, or why he lost his fucking memory?
No, I don't remember.
In the Bourne Identity, he was sent on a mission to kill a drug lord or some shit like that on a boat, but he didn't do it because his kids was there.
Well, yeah. So you tired of the run of mill. You want, like, if he would have just killed them, and I see what you're saying. You want something different, not the check the box and stuff. I see what you're saying. Right. But I have some stuff written down. But Jared, you go ahead. What was your thoughts?
Okay.
Don't go too much into books because I want you to talk specifically about.
I got you. Yeah. So I didn't love the movie. I didn't love it. I thought it was very cliche. A lot of stuff that I've seen before, like you mentioned, Chad. But the thing is, like, it's hard for me to judge this because I have read the books. It's hard for me to judge it, not just because of the differences between this and the book, but because I've read all the books. So I read the first book in I think like 2016 or 2017. So when I think about the character, I don't think about it in terms of book one version of the character because so much has been developed since then in the other 10 books.
10 books?
Yeah, it's 11 total. Or is the 11th one about to come out? Either one. It's 10 or 11. I think the 11th one is about to come out. But so a lot has... I know a lot about the character that's not specific to just book one, which is what this movie was focused on. But regardless of that, this is not like anything special. Like if I hadn't read the books and I watched this movie and somebody said, "Hey, this is based on books," this would not make me want to go read the books. Like not at all. Whereas vice versa with the books, I would want to see a movie, which is why I was excited to watch this. But overall, I just thought it was pretty average, like in terms of like a spy type of a one-man army, sort of a military dude, spy military CIA dude. Like I didn't see anything really that was special.
Set it apart.
Yeah, I didn't see anything that was particularly great. And like outside of like the MCU stuff, the Russos, I don't know, man. Like, yeah,
like Cherry. What the fuck was y'all doing?
I have not been impressed. I have not been impressed. And the crazy thing is, like, I think they have I think they might have the best MCU movies. Like, that's the crazy part. Like,
yeah, They
But
need
outside of the
that they
MCU,
need that structure. Like they don't need to
Yeah.
be able to do what the fuck they want to do.
Yeah, because here I thought, and a lot of this stuff does happen in the book, but it's different. Like here, when you see him doing things, it's just like he's just a regular super spy type of a dude. But in the book, it's like since you're, and this goes for all books really, but like when you get the scene played out from the character's perspective, where it's like instead of you just seeing him pop up and shoot 6 dudes in the book, he might say, okay, he's at this angle, so if I move to this position, he won't be able to see me. Like it's much more intricate in the book, so it's not like you're just seeing a superhuman spy dude taking everybody out. Like in the book, it's more nuanced, and like you get explanations of how he's able to be the gray man.
Well, now that you say that, I wish they would have done more with that, especially when he was when he fell through the trap door and you see him taking his shoestrings off.
MacGyver that shit.
Right. I wish
that's
maybe
directly from the book. That scene happens directly.
Well, I wish you would have done a narration to explain to us what he's doing.
Remember earlier though, like that's messy though. Like that's not a good use of explaining things narratively in a movie though.
Well, I'm saying because like I mean, we understand he went down there, he did things. So I guess from what you watching, what did he do when he was in the water?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he did. Like he blew some up and
and then he pulled some. Like it would be good to know like if what he did or more times or another time in a movie, because that's the only time where he really finagled some shit to do something.
And like and not to go too crazy into the books, but like that's the beauty of the books, like because you get explanations and insight into how he's able to do all of this stuff instead of just where if you see it on screen you just see him do it.
Yeah, like
in the books it's more it's first of all, the tone is more like a Bourne movie. Like it's not this sort of, I don't want to say wacky, but this has sort of a,
I mean, like I said,
funny sort of a tone.
Like I said,
like
you could
upbeat,
tell
it's upbeat.
You could tell Chris Evans was having fun. He was getting his fucking Bugs Bunny on.
Chris Evans is amazing in this movie. I was loving Chris Evans, and his character in the book is very similar to this, but it's not as amplified as he did it. But that's the difference. Like everything in this movie is just Hollywoodized and like taken to the extreme, like compared to the series. Like, but as a movie individually, I thought it was I'll give it like a 6 or a 5. I'll probably give it like a 5.5.
I will say there's 2 parts that I thought were kind of cool. I thought that the way he escaped from that hole was kind of cool, like when he flooded it. But I really like, there's 2 bits that I thought were cool. Like when he was on top of that that metro tram thingy, and he was passing those buildings with all the glass, and he was looking at the reflection to see what the dude was. I thought that was cool when he shot him. And I thought that was really cool, like in the end fight with Chris Evans, when he got the knife away from him and he threw it up, and then Chris Evans just caught it and just stabbed him again. I was like, that's funny.
Like that reflection thing, that's the type of stuff that he does in the book.
Right. I could see like I can see like that being
it's like so for like just as an example, even though they did do it in a movie, like I feel like the entire movie was him just doing stuff where it was like he just seems like he's a superhero. Whereas in the books it's like he is a superhero. I mean, obviously, if he's like a super internet, like a super spy, like 10 book in a 10-book series, he clearly does stuff that's fantastical. But it's done in a way where like you get the explanation and you get him explaining it and thinking about it and thinking things through, and like he gets beat up. He takes a lot of damage in the series to where like. For example, after his one of his encounters where he escapes from the whale, he's like so injured that like he breaks into like this veterinarian.
They did that,
which it's slightly different, but it's like it's adapted, so it's a little different. But like he's so tired from like fighting and traveling and not sleeping, like he takes methamphetamines like that. So it's like more realistic in the books. So like he it's just I was just super disappointed. I would be disappointed if I watched this as a standalone movie, and I was disappointed as a book fan. So, but I got to see Ana de Armas. So.
Everything you said reminds me of Jack Reacher. So, you know, they had the Tom Cruise movies, right?
Yeah.
Now, I still haven't read the books, but then they had the show come on.
Prime.
Prime?
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, Amazon Prime.
Right. I fucking love the show Jack Reacher. So then I did research afterwards, and it was because the Tom Cruise ones, you know, Hollywood shit, blah, blah, blah. But then the TV show Jack Reacher was more in tune into what the books were about, where like, so I guess maybe that's the same thing you're saying. So maybe, hey, fuck it, take it like they did.
Don't say it.
I have to. It worked for Jack Reacher. They need a TV show of this.
Well, I will say I read that Jack Reacher book, The Killing Floor, and it's very close to the show. Very close.
Right.
I mean, the time is different, but it's very close.
Yeah. And I wasn't a fan of the Tom Cruise one like that one, but watching a TV show, I am very like the character of him or the actor that did it and everything, like the way they did it. I would like to see more of this.
Yeah, they're getting to season 2.
Right, but okay, but here's the thing though, like this is a Netflix property, right? This could have been a TV show, but they chose not to do it.
Right. Maybe
it's a money thing. Can't pay
they
Chris Evans.
They had $200 million.
Hey, I don't know, man.
And I'm many, and like Chris Evans is no stranger to streaming shows. He was on the Apple show. Like,
yeah, I watched that show.
Yeah, Defending Jacob.
Defending Jacob. That's right.
Like, so no, like this could have been a show, but they chose this route. But then they crammed so many fucking flashbacks into it.
Right. And I cut you off earlier, Jared, when he's talking about Ana de Armas.
Yes.
And we all are fans of her. Mm-hmm. But I said before we recorded, I really like this version, or it was a different version that I've normally seen her in. So normally she's the sexy sex appeal thing in different movies, to where I know they made, like you guys just said earlier, Bridgerton did make a quip about her, but I liked how her character was not a sexy character. It was just a character.
She wasn't a sexual object. Like, yeah, at the end of the day, she didn't hook up with Ryan Gosling.
Right.
Yeah, I did see I was Googling The Gray Man to see when that book came out, because I read it in like 2016 or 2017, but it came out in 2009. But when I was Googling it to find that release date, I saw a review title and it said "Wokeness Kills the Gray Man." I was just like, "What? Like, what happened in the movie?"
So they're saying the movie's woke or the book's woke?
No, they're saying the movie. Like, and the only thing I could think of was like her being like, "Don't get out of my personal space," because I can't remember anything else that would be considered woke, quote air quotes.
But then he also turns it around on her at the end.
So I don't know, man. I didn't read the article. I just thought the title was like, what? Like
maybe it's too woke because women are shooting guns and defending themselves, and they're at the same level as men.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
So as somebody that's read the books, is this movie one of the books, like the core story of like them trying to take out the program, or is this like multiple parts of books, or is this none of the books, but they added like elements?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's based on the first book, but it's a lot of stuff that's like in the book. There's no drive that the Gray Man gets that sends them after him. Like, that's not in the book. It's a lot of stuff that happens in the movie that happens in the book, but I would say it's about 55%.
Wait, this is the first
accurate
book?
Yeah.
What the fuck are the rest of the books about then?
It's a whole long thing. It's like, because he like goes on a run from the CIA, and he goes back to work for the CIA, but the way it's done is like, it's hard to explain. It's a lot of series there. But I'm telling you, the way that it's written is, don't let the movie
deter me from reading the books.
Yeah. Don't let the movie, like, the books are nothing like this.
I thought that this would have like been like the 5th or 6th book, where like the first couple books is him doing missions and stuff. Like,
well, like it's different because like, okay, like the book starts with like him in Afghanistan. Like he's in Afghanistan and like he's like it's like there are moral dilemmas in the book. So like it starts with him like he sees like these American soldiers like under fire, but he can't intervene because like that's not his mission, like that type of a thing. So he's like he's beholden to the agency he works for, but like he has a conscience at the same time. So it's like he sort of does his own thing, and the tone is much more serious than they made it out to be in the movie. Like it's much more grounded, and like it's not as fantastical as this movie is. And another thing is like just Ryan Gosling is not the Gray Man. Like I would never have cast him as the Gray Man. I get it, it's Hollywood, you need a lead man.
I mean, they wanted Chris Evans to play him.
Yeah, but he wanted to be the villain.
Yeah.
But even
after reading the books, who in your mind who will play the Gray Man?
It would have to
don't say Chris Evans.
Not Chris Evans. It would have to be somebody that's just like a normal looking dude. That's what the Gray Man is. Like so his persona is like nobody knows who he is, but like certain circles know who he is. So like he's the dude who can pull off like a job. Like nobody can do that alone, but he can. But nobody knows who he is, but like he has a reputation like, oh shit, that's the Gray Man. Like it's sort of like a John Wick. Remember in the first John Wick, I was like, oh, like
wait, what? No,
sort of has a.
What the fuck are you talking about, Jared? What actor would you cast? What the fuck are you talking about?
It would be somebody like he would have to look like not specifically this actor, but like Kyle Chandler, for example. Ooh. Like a regular looking dude.
Oh, you know what about Scott? Is his name Scott Glenn? Fuck. Did you see Top Gun Maverick?
Yeah.
The dickhead.
The Hangman?
Yes.
Even he might be too good looking.
But he's got that whole in that movie, yeah. But in other stuff he's in, he looks like a normal-ish dude.
Yeah.
What about Miles Teller?
No.
He's too tall. So the thing about the Gray Man is like he's just normal. So he could go into a building and you could see him, but he's so average that you won't remember. Like that's how he is so good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how he's so good at being a super spy, because he's just so bland, basically. Like you don't remember anything about him. Nothing sticks out about him. He goes out of his way to make sure that you wouldn't remember him, like that type of thing. So to get Ryan Gosling, a super tall dude, it's just like that's not the Gray Man. But it's Hollywood. I get it.
I typed in average looking actors, right?
Yeah.
And they were like Seth Rogen, Beck Bennett, John Turturro. Yeah. But nobody young though. Jack Black, John C. Reilly, William. Sorry, now they're just older people. Yeah.
Yeah. Any final thoughts before we transition?
I don't know how this was $200 million.
The cast.
You got to tighten it up. Like
the cast.
This is getting ridiculous.
The cast, and also Netflix doesn't know how to handle money.
They
don't know how to negotiate.
I mean, yeah.
They better get it together soon.
Netflix just lost 50. What they say, 32% of subscribers this year.
Yeah. Like, do you remember that Rick and Morty episode where it was the Ocean's 11 episode? And at the end, Morty is doing his pitch and he's fucking it up. And the Netflix executive's like, it's okay. We're gonna greenlight you. Keep going.
Right, yeah.
I just hope Knives Out 2 isn't trash like this. Well, not trash. That's too hard.
But no, I know. I'm hoping it's good. I'm hoping it's fun. I hope that there's speculation that they're going to give it like a real theatrical run, and I really hope that they do that.
Me too.
Mm-hmm. Do you think Chris Evans can? This is in general. Speaking of Chris Evans, do you think he can get away from Captain America to where people see him as a real, see him as different characters instead of just always seeing Captain America?
Yes, but he can't do shit like this. And when I say shit like this, I mean he needs to like go back to indie shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Okay.
like it works for most actors. Like what's Batman's name?
Christian Bale,
No,
Ben Affleck,
no.
Robert Pattinson.
Yes. Like
Yeah.
for the longest, people were like, "Oh yeah, he's fucking shiny vampire," but then he was doing like Good Time and like The Lighthouse, and like he was just
Metropolis and all of that. Yeah.
digging
Right.
into indie stuff to where it's like, yes, but also like, did you see this man in The Lighthouse? Like he can fucking act.
Yes,
Right.
definitely.
Okay.
So yeah. I mean, Chris Evans is at a point I feel like where he doesn't need money.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It's just it depends on if he wants to do that or not.
Right.
Mhm.
I
He
mean,
could be
he
perfectly
was
happy being known as just Captain America dude, and he just hits up Netflix and gets his super big paydays for
he was
you know,
great in Defending Jacob, and he's got a movie
Yeah.
coming out on Apple with Scarlett Johansson and I think Anna de Armas.
I forget, but I've seen the set photos. Yeah, I know Anna de Armas is in it for sure.
And I think
forget
that's
what
the
it's
one
called.
with Scarlett Johansson.
I'm definitely watching that.
But yeah, what do you guys think the Rotten Tomatoes was on this movie?
I would be shocked if it's above 60.
45.
50%.
Yeah, that's about what I would expect.
All right. Trivia time. All right. The Gray Man's $200 million budget makes it the most expensive Netflix original movie, tied with A, Red Notice, B, Six Underground, C, The Irishman, or D, Bright.
Bright.
I'm gonna say Red Notice.
All right. So Six Underground costs $150 million.
Michael Bay.
Yes. Michael Bay loves to blow stuff up.
Yeah.
The Irishman with all that de-aging technology cost $160 million. Bright cost.
That's the lowest, right?
Yeah, it costs $106 million. Red Notice also cost $200 million because you had The Rock, you had Ryan Reynolds, and you also had Gal Gadot, as well as blowing up a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Right.
And that movie was worse than this. I'm sorry.
That
movie was worse than this.
I think I was the only one that didn't like that movie on that episode, if I recall correctly.
Oh, well, I'm in your boat because I was just like, what am I watching? That movie I didn't love it.
Even though we was all talking about at the end of the day, The Rock was sweaty in the jungle with a fucking tan shirt, but y'all was eating that shit up. So, but I'm wrong. Okay.
Right. He know what his people like, even though we don't always like it, we accept it.
All right, let's do this trivia dump. On Chris Evans's first day of filming, he accidentally hit Ryan Gosling in the face with a prop gun. And also, I thought that was kind of funny, but also kind of dickish when he's like, "Who throws a loaded gun?" Specifically with Anna de Armas, it's like y'all in the middle of a fucking chase. Why is that gun not loaded?
Right.
And then Suzanne Brewster, that is the agent lady that was working with Bridgerton, who's British in real life.
Yeah, Jessica Henwick.
Yes. She asked Lloyd Henson, Chris Evans, how can he consider such a messy situation a success? To which he replies, I consider success a success. There's a similar exchange in Avengers Endgame where Thanos asks Loki if he considers failure experience, to which Loki responds, I consider experience. That's all I got.
It's a little bit of a reach. That's a big reach, but okay.
That's
whoever
all,
put that trivia in there is just like that's definitely a reach.
That's all I got. Okay. So I want to thank you for coming out and hanging out with us tonight, Jared. It was fun. Good times. We talked for way too long tonight.
We always do.
But yeah, thanks, man.
Oh, no problem. I love coming on the show.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening. Please rate, like, and review our podcast on your platform of choice. If you have any feedback, please email us at weusedtotalkpod@gmail.com. Like our Facebook page. We used to talk about this at work, and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And we used to talk pod. Come back next week when we do a classic review of Bedazzled, and maybe we're gonna have a special guest or two. Maybe. I don't really like to announce guests because things happen, but we're definitely reviewing Bedazzled next week.
Right. And like always, I don't know if this was a good episode. I don't know if it was a bad episode, but whatever you think about it, talk about it at work. Thank you for listening.